Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Happy Friday evening. Glad it's Friday. Glad it's the weekend and getting ready for a great weekend. And I got another great guest, not even a guest. I don't even know why I say that. Good friend of the show, my homie and everything. So she's waiting in the background. So let's get it. And we'll bring her on in a few minutes. All right, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Happy Friday. It is July 25th, and it's football season. I mean, training camps have just begun this week. All teams, all players have are there, and we already had a couple of injuries. So, but I'm doing a series, women in football and fantasy football. So this episode is all fantasy football. So I had to bring a heavy hitter, one of my good friends, expert, analyst, illustrator, designer. Yeah, she does a little of everything, but like I said, it's not even a guess. She's a great friend, for sure, and we met in person a couple of times. So yeah, so it's always good to connect with her before the season starts getting crazy. But before I bring her in, you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it's Apple, Spotify, BS3 Network, Roku channel, YouTube, Spreaker, wherever you consume podcasts, you can get it there. You can also follow me on all the social media platforms. That's Twitter, X. I still call it Twitter. I'm on Blue Sky, also Instagram, Facebook. I think that's all of TikTok. Yeah, that's all of them. So yeah, you can follow me there as well. Well, let me bring in my guest since I already gave her the intro. My good friend Sam Holt, again, illustrator, designer, fantasy analyst, expert. I call her expert. She's one of the best at it. Matthew Berry Fantasy Life as well. So Sam, welcome back to the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Courtney. You always flatter me with your intros. I feel like I cannot live up to them, but thank you. You're too kind. Far too
No,
kind.
no, it is. It's the truth, and then it's I try to be as authentic as I can be, and that's just what it is. And you do really good work, and like I said, just a good person, good friend, as well. So I'm always excited to have you on, even if it's just for a little bit of time and or anything else like that. But you always gain when I ask you, so I really dearly appreciate it.
Of course. Anytime.
Yeah. But how's everything going? I know we talked on. I think we talked about it before the draft, actually, and
Yeah.
that was the last time we did some. The last time we did something together, and I know you've been very busy as well. But how's everything else? How's everything going with you and your life, and what's been going on?
Yeah, no, things are good. It's been a very busy summer, having as much fun as I possibly can to, make content, but make different things. So
Yeah.
I've been doing the Unbinged podcast with the guys over
Yes.
there, where we've been reviewing movies and TV shows. And that's been really fun for me because it's a little bit different than reviewing fantasy, obviously. So
Yeah.
that's really been nice to kind of kick the rust off the tires a little bit and just have a little bit more fun this off season. And I'm really happy that we're going to be continuing this on into the season as well. So it's also been a good excuse to get to the movies and see a lot of good stuff and watch a lot of new
Yeah.
shows. So for me, that's been kind of new and different, and I've really been enjoying it.
Yeah, because I know we talked about this a lot about different things we like to do, and we
Yeah.
like movies and TV shows, of course, and yes, I did. Yes, I forgot to mention that. Yes, the Unbinged podcast. So check that out as well. What was the last movie you saw in the theaters? That would be the question.
Yeah, so I just saw the new Superman in theaters and we reviewed that as well.
Okay.
What's been really fun about the reviews that we've been doing these deep dives. So going back and watching all of the old movies before and then having that in context going to the new ones. This weekend, I'll be going and watching Fantastic Four.
Me too.
So,
Yes.
yep.
Yep.
So we'll
Yep.
be reviewing that Monday morning, and that episode will be up next week as well. So
Okay.
looking forward to it. And then there's lots of really good TV shows coming out this fall and more movies. So lots of good stuff.
Yeah, and yep, we saw Superman last week, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
we saw it the opening weekend, and we just saw that. We're gonna see Fantastic Four tomorrow
nice.
afternoon. So we'll go to that one because I know we're both big comic book fans. So we're
Yes.
but what you think of before we get into all the fantasy stuff? What you think of Superman?
I loved it. It was definitely different than what I anticipated it being. And I think it's kind of a nice, bright new future looking forward to the DC universe expanding from James Gunn's point of view. And I think that they did a really good job of setting it up a universe where you're already introduced to more characters than just necessarily. It is Superman, you do get him a lot, but there's these other characters now in this that really intrigue you to wanting more from the DC universe. And that to me
Yeah.
is also exciting. Like, um, yeah, there was just some amazing fight scenes, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. We always have a
Right.
huge
Right.
spoiler warning before all of our shows. But if you
Yeah.
haven't gone to see it, it is different than what you're expecting, but in a good way, and it's really fun.
Yeah, it was a good movie, and I'm not a big DC fan, or wasn't a big Superman fan either. Really, my wife's a big Superman fan, Christopher Reeve Superman fan, and
Yes.
she's a big she's not DC but mostly Superman. So I didn't go into it with a lot of expectations. So but I enjoyed it. I watched it because she loves Superman. So I was like, you know what? Yes, I'm a comic book fan. I know the story and everything too. But it was just one of those. Let me see what give it a try and everything. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was like I said, it was definitely different from the Christopher Reeve Superman, and I know it's a hard comparison, but but it was a really solid movie. It was felt like a actual comic book movie, like when you turn
Yeah.
comic book. It was very comic book esque, and I think that's what Marvel's missing lately
Mm-hmm.
with their movies. We'll see what Fantastic Four does, but yeah, this one was good. And you said it's a new era of the James Gunn DC
Mm-hmm.
universe now. So and I felt like starting with Superman, they had to really swing for it. They had to set a standard
Yeah.
for this, because if this didn't do well, it's like, okay, Superman doesn't do well, it's not gonna DC's they're gonna have some more issues, but it was a good start. It was a real good start for them, and I'm seeing what happens next. So we'll see what happens with James Gunn. I'm a big Batman fan though, for sure.
I love Batman. Love
Yes,
it.
me too. Love that. The only DC character I do like is Bat. Man, we could have did a. We got to do. We'll do something next time with
Just talk movies and
comic
shows.
books, movies, and shows, and just yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, everyone go and watch Superman as well. We got Nathan Sandra in the chat. He says hello, Sam.
Hi.
Yes, yes. Women in sports for sure. Welcome back, football. Yep, we are gonna dive into some football and fantasy and all that too. So how's the fantasy so far, season so far? I always ask you, how many drafts have you done so far, and or
I
how many
know.
leagues are you in?
Well, I'm active in 2 drafts right now. And I'm hoping to keep it to 10 leagues this season. I've
Okay,
so far, so I'm doing well. I'm under 10 right
under
now.
10.
So
Right, right.
we're keeping true to the goals, which is nice. And I'm just gonna quickly make sure I'm not on the clock in any of these. I don't
Oh
think so.
yes, yes.
But what's been nice is the variety of different leagues that I've been
Mm,
doing. Obviously, Scott
mhm.
Fishbowl is incredibly
Yes.
fun and
Yep.
has so many new things this season going on with the scoring, but also doing more IDP leagues just because those are a lot of fun too. And I think,
Yeah.
talked about this a lot this season, this off season, I should say, in terms of the excitement that Travis Hunter brings to fantasy scoring. And as someone that's been playing IDP leagues for several years now, I'm really excited that more people are getting into it. And I think he's
Yeah.
like kind of the gateway fantasy player for a lot of people to get into playing more IDP, just because it's so much more fun when you get a higher volume of points per players rather than just off of one defense. And it really helps you kind of balance out those points. Let's say, a defense gives up several touchdowns and you lose all those points. But if you still have someone that's making plays, making tackles in that defense, you're still getting some positive
Yeah.
things from that. And I think that's why I love it so much, is because even if an average defense has an off day, individual players can still succeed.
Yeah, IDP is the way. I think that in the guillotine leagues.
Oh yeah, love
Yeah,
guillotine.
those are the new. Well, IDP's been out for a while, but it's starting to, like I said, it's starting to ramp up with that type of league. And you're right. You pay more attention to the individual defensive players, which you just never know. One week player can have 10 tackles, the next week they might have two or three. They might get an interception. So yeah, it's just more of a variety, like you said. And so yeah, I'm in the Scott Fish Bowl. I got two more rounds left. It's been a
Nice.
long
Slow drafts,
slow
slow
drafts,
drafts. They're
which
not
has
for the
been
weak at
cool.
heart.
No, they're not. And some people, yeah, they're right. And some people don't even they don't even set their auto or anything like that. So you got to wait till 7 hours or something like that. And yeah,
Yeah.
so we got two more rounds. I put a joke in my league. I said, well, maybe we'll finish by the weekend, and more than likely we will probably finish by Sunday. But we got two more rounds on that. So I'm only doing three leagues: the
Okay.
Scott Fish Bowl and then two others. I'm
Nice.
trying to keep it. I was a lot of leagues too, so I'm trying to keep it at a minimum. As of now, I say three, but then I'm gonna do some DFS too. So I'm trying to keep it at that. So we'll see
Nice.
how that all goes. So, but yeah, we got to talk some Matthew Berry fantasy life, and everyone get the magazine.
Yes,
There it
magazine is on
is.
shelves now. Thank you
Yes,
so much
yes,
for
you can
picking it
see
up.
that. Of
Appreciate
course.
it.
Yep. And Sam was a big contributor on this as well. She has illustrations on here. So here's one. If y'all just know, it's kind of blurry, but just see that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Got the comic book theme, the
Yes.
cornerstone. So yeah, so talk about the you know, getting those ideas on the illustrations and being able to, when you see your work in the magazine and now sold every bookstore and airport and grocery store, and I got mine from a grocery store. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
we talk about that, how that, when you put your work and you see it um, in the magazine.
It was awesome and an incredible feeling not only to get to, contribute, but it is something for an artist to get to see their work
Yeah,
printed. I feel like I'm kind of old school in that I love a printed medium. It's nice to, post things on social media and do different things, but there's something different about just seeing a magazine, getting to flip to a page and see something that you drew in it. So I
yeah,
was really grateful that I got the opportunity to work with a team and make those illustrations for these cornerstone articles, which are fantastic. And it's awesome too the way that they structured the magazine this year in terms of breaking things down, not just by, position, but by injuries and lots of different ways that you can look at in order to have all the tools in a magazine to take that into your draft has been super cool. So, and then also, yeah, getting to draw each of these players, the four
yeah,
cornerstone players was super cool. So again, just a kind of pinch yourself moment of, oh, that was pretty sick. And it was a
yeah.
lot of work, but it was so incredibly worth it.
When I said yes, I said I'm definitely got I support my friend, and I love that, Wolverine's one of my favorite characters, and
Yeah, you like
I
that.
saw that, yes. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was so cool when I saw those, and I was like, yeah. And I was having you on the show when we were talking this week. I already had, like I said, had the magazine, and but I wanted to ask you, like, how does that feel to like I said, to see your work? And we, like I said, we do have so much in common. Like, I love the physical copies of things too. Like, yes, I love the digital for sure, but I love having a physical magazine with me
Yeah.
when I go to a draft, or even when I'm doing a draft. Uh, just in general, and just to be able to look. And I love reading the projections and the rankings, and the articles in it too. I think it's so cool to do that. So yeah, so congratulations
Thank
on that
you.
success with that as well. So but yeah, so now that you're big part of the magazine, what does it like it if you say, now you say, hey, I'm part of this too. So yeah, what else you got in store with that as well?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm still doing a lot of graphics over here at
Yeah,
Fantasy Life and having a great time doing that. Working on some plans for more drawings for the season, of course.
right.
But yeah, lots of amazing things. What's been fantastic too is getting to watch the team go through more developments on the site and coming up with
Mhm.
more tools. So Lots and lots of new tools over on fantasylife.com. The new Fantasy HQ has an amazing league sync feature, so you can actually sync your leagues from multiple platforms in there, and it'll help you set your lineups in season as well.
Yeah.
So I actually have a code for anyone that watches if they want to go and get 20% off Fantasy Life subscription. They can just use code Holt, my last name, HOLT, and you'll get 20% off your Fantasy Life subscription. So please go and check it out. There's so many cool things. One of my favorite things that I got to play with is the new utilization comparison tool. So if
Mhm.
you're familiar with Dwayne McFarland's amazing work with his utilization report, now they have a tool that goes with it, and you can literally compare direct utilization between players, and it'll
Mhm.
help you when you're
Yeah.
going back and forth between two players and you're on a slow draft and you want to take some time. You can actually make a much better pick just based on these amazing stats that it's going to be pulling for you in that tool.
A lot of great tools there. Like you say, you're in a Scott Fish Bowl where you got
Yep.
7, 8 hours of in between picks. You can definitely you get said between two players, you can take your time and you got about 7, 8 hours per pick.
Yeah.
So and then you're waiting and waiting, especially if you got the number one or top 2 or 3 pick, you're gonna be waiting for a while before he
No, I
comes back to you.
know.
So
Load
that's a
that
good
queue,
tool.
but load the queue and put it in order where you're going to feel good
Yes.
who falls
Yes.
to you when your
Yep.
turn comes around as well. So it's also crazy because there's so many different formats now. I'm in so many leagues where the type of scoring is so different that
Mhm.
even how you sort players is different. There's mass amounts of flex versus getting to necessarily go through each position. So that
Yeah.
makes it a little bit harder to kind of prepare. So I love to go through ahead of my rounds and really just like lock them all up in my queue. So that way I'm better prepared for when it comes around to me. I'm in a 16 team draft right now. So I'm
Mhm.
stacking up my queue just to like put hopes and prayers into
Yeah.
into the
That you get
basket
these
so that I
players.
can see
Yeah.
who's actually
Right.
going to come back to me. Because there's so many picks obviously that go by. You want to make sure that you're not missing out on players just because you didn't happen to scroll far enough through all the different player availability.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. When you're scrolling through, and
Yeah.
then you might miss someone, and then someone gets that player later. Like, wait, I didn't see them,
No.
and everything too. But no, that's a good. No, but that's a great tip. One of the tips to do is like to stack those players in your queue in order how you want them. As you said, with a 16 team league, I've seen 20 team leagues. It's like those type of leagues, those large leagues are hard, especially if you do have like say the last pick and you have them on the turn and you come back. It's like, man, everybody's gone, and
Everybody's gone.
everything, everybody's gone. So, but that's a good strategy to have to stack those players up, and then on in your in your queue, and then you're able to hopefully get a few of them. Those players you won't miss anything. So yeah, you won't miss a player at all. So, but wanted to ask you about Matthew Berry, the new investment deal. It's been announced and everything. Dude, just the landmark moment of that. That's huge. It's huge for fantasy football in general. Of how so many people are investing in it, and someone like Matthew Berry, who to me and to you too is your boss for one, but just like the godfather of fantasy football, especially fantasy sports. And I listened to an interview with him maybe a few days ago. He was on John Oran's show, The
Mm-hmm.
Varsity. He was talking about uh, how much of a landmark moment that was. But what do you think of the news of seeing something like that, and how much fantasy football has grown over the years? How many years we've been playing it for so long?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've been playing fantasy since college, and of course, I got into it. And as soon as I got into it, I picked up Matthew's book, and that
Yeah,
was a huge reason why I even wanted to get more involved into the fantasy space as a whole as an analyst as well.
right.
Just the amount of opportunities that he's created over the years, still creating, and I think it's just also a true testament to you know, those that work really hard and are coming from a place of not only growing, growing for the sake of it, but just also growing so that others have opportunities. Matthew's always been a huge proponent of creating opportunities for others. And every time he gets a step forward, he knows just how big that is for everyone else in the space as well. And you say that fantasy sports is growing at such an incredible rate. To be
Yeah,
a part of a team that is investing in the team itself as well as into assets that make it an amazing program and tool and like I said website for all of our users has been really really amazing just get to watch and to see the level of investment from all different team members across fantasy life as a whole. It's really inspiring too just to one, be a part of it, but see the impact that it has across the board. Because, like I said, as soon as you see someone like Matthew create these amazing opportunities for fantasy life, you're going to see the ball continue to roll for so many others. So it's just amazing to be a part, not only, again, like I said, a part of a team that's growing, but growing, I think, in the right way,
Yeah.
where we're recognizing really good talent. They do such an amazing job of not just hyping up our amazing writers and our analysts and all of our podcasters and everyone we have on the radio. They just do such a good job of elevating not only talented people, but people that also elevate others. And I think
Mm,
that's really
yeah.
inspiring too, because it creates just a very warm and encouraging environment to grow in as a creator. You want to level up because you feel supported. And I think that means a lot to a lot of people that, are coming from a place of maybe having a level of imposter syndrome. Why am I even in the space? Why am I trying to do this? When you're
Yeah.
surrounded by so many people that are so encouraging, it keeps you wanting to grow and wanting to develop as an analyst. So for myself, I'm just really grateful for the opportunity I've had to be part of the team over the years and get, new opportunities to do fun things like add illustrations to the magazine was an amazing opportunity for me. And, I'm very close with many people that work at Fantasy Life. So getting to watch them grow has been incredible as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I mean, the investment opportunity was huge. And also just like it made sense. It's amazing how they're finding ways to make these things, make these deals, and it just tracks. It feels good. It's all in the right direction. Again, positive growth for more amazing things in the future.
Yeah, very well said. And it also, as you said, it helps others. Like you said, Matthew Berry, he's helped a lot of people and is given opportunities to a lot of people like yourself and others in this space. But to continue to grow, as you said, to see, and you're right, fantasy life is doing amazing things, and just to see other people really see it for what it is and what it's been doing and what it is going to as well. I mean, LeBron James, Maverick Carter. I mean, he had big names. He's saying John Legend. He was naming all. There was so many investors that was on board. Just like I said, just it's a very big landmark. And it said it helps others, and like I said, I know a few people over there at Fantasy Life too as well, and everything. So shout out to Metro Bay Fantasy Life, that and the entire staff team. He said podcasters and writers, and yeah, it's one of, but it's a great community, and it is good to see that growth and fantasy sports just in general, how big it's become. And it continues. Everywhere you see, it's someone has as a content with something fantasy football, especially. It's amazing. It is just to see where it's come from and where it is today.
Yeah, no, it's amazing to be a part of Ride, like I said, and
Yeah,
it's awesome because all this amazing news comes in the off season, and you couldn't want anything more to hype you up to go into the next season than news
yeah.
like this. So, it's amazing to have the ball rolling so quickly, so early, and we haven't even started the season yet.
I know, right? Just training camp just opened up, but yeah. So shout out, like I said, shout out to Matt Berry, the entire Fantasy Life team as well. So big things happening over there. So I got to ask you, we always talk Pittsburgh Steelers, and I always want to get your opinions on your squad, your team heading into this season. Last time we talked, there was that there was rumors at the time that Aaron Rodgers was gonna. We kind of both knew it was like,
We
yeah,
knew what was
it
happening.
was happening. It just was okay. When is Aaron Rodgers gonna come out of the dark, the dark
Yeah.
side, and all, whatever was going on? And I saw the comments that we was talking off camera before this back then. But we were just saying, but what's the outlook for you on for a fantasy perspective with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I mean, in terms of fantasy outlook, I'm trepidatious, cautious. I
Mm,
don't want to say I'm overly excited in terms
right,
of our
right.
fantasy output. I think as a team,
Mhm.
it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah,
Obviously, the tea leaves, if you will, finally settled, and we know that Rodgers is going to be our quarterback. The DK Metcalf get, I was quite excited about. The addition of Jonnu Smith was interesting to me, but I think based on the way that we that our offensive coordinator likes to run the ball. It's going to be a lot of two tight end sets.
Yeah.
But I think for fantasy purposes, if you're someone that had Johnny Smith in like Dynasty, for example, and you were coming off of the season that he just had, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more of a fall down in terms of what to expect for him going into this season.
Right.
He's obviously going to be splitting work with Patrick Frymouth as well, and Frymouth's been there longer, but also Rodgers is new. So I feel like Smith is going to be, the tight end to grab if you're going to. But based on tight end premium leagues and others that are available, I just see Smith kind of falling a little bit in terms of
Right.
ADP. So I feel like
Yeah.
there's better targets for you that are going to have a higher floor because they're not going to have the same competition that he currently has. Again,
Mhm.
because Frymouth is already there and also a big body and a very able bodied tight end as well. In terms of who I'm targeting, if I'm targeting anyone, I mean, the running backs are players that I'm looking to grab late because they do tend to fall a little bit. Caleb Johnson, I have in a couple leagues, grabbing Warren in a couple as well, just because I feel like Warren's going to end up being the ground and pound running back that I can count on for a certain, decent floor for a later running back if I'm going to be waiting on the position in different leagues. And then I've got some PPR upside there with Johnson as well. So between the two, I think if I walk away from a draft with one of them, I'm pretty content.
Yeah.
Where I've seen Metcalf go in drafts, he's never like it's somehow like I keep missing him in transit in between my drafts.
Yeah.
So I haven't walked away with any Metcalf shares. Not that I'm avoiding him. It just seems that wherever I happen to be sitting in most of my drafts, I am either drafting from either the 1, 2, or 3, or I'm drafting at the tail end. So
Mm.
somehow he ends up being that middle receiver that I always end up missing. So for myself, it's not that I'm avoiding him. This is just that awkward moment where we keep
Yeah.
passing each other in the hall, and it's like, I'll see you in the next class, and we just never happen to hang out together.
Right, right. Yeah, and I seen, like I said, with the Scott Fishbowl, uh he kept sliding, and then
Yeah,
I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll get him on, maybe set on the turn, because I had the 1.4. Yeah, I was on the 1.4, 1.4. And so I was like, well, I'll get him on the next one, fourth, fifth round. And then someone scooped him up. And so I was like, okay, that's probably where he's gonna end up landing
yeah.
as well. So but I did get Calvin Austin. I just literally just got him in the 20 and so many rounds. Like, it was towards the back end. And he could be either the second receiver, or he could fall to the third receiver. So you think he's got any value? I know, so it's going to be a run heavy, probably more than likely a run heavy offense, but and with the two tight ends. But I know Aaron Rodgers, he's going to still want to throw the football a little bit more than what Pittsburgh probably wants him to.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure he's going to throw. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's absolutely going to throw the ball. But it's
Yeah,
going to be interesting the way that they set up their offense going into this season because obviously you've got such a big target in DK Metcalf that you can't let him go or let him get away from you. The coverage he's going to get is going to be immense. So
yeah,
Smith and Freiermuth are both going to see, I think, an interesting amount of availability. So I feel like across the
yep,
middle, those guys are going to get a lot of targets. And I feel like by the end of the season, we're not going to have a true wide receiver two because that wide receiver two is going to fall to one of the tight ends. And then we're going to end up with a wide receiver, three or maybe the four because they both end up being right there for targets.
yeah,
It could be someone like Austin who does have amazing speed still. So I feel like he could end up being there. I think a later round wide receiver makes sense, especially for teams that have maybe multiple flex positions. Maybe they've got like three wide receivers and three flex spots. It makes sense to have someone like him that's, going to be a little bit of a track star, but at the same time, going to have some availability and some options too. It doesn't hurt to round out your team with someone like him.
yeah, for sure. Yep, it's good analysis on your Pittsburgh Steelers
Trying to
and
be positive.
I know,
I'm
right,
trying
right,
so hard.
yeah,
Our defense is going to be great. I'm going
yeah.
to tell you guys that right now.
Defense is gonna be excellent. Yeah, they're gonna be great. Yes, they're
Yes,
gonna be really good, and that's what's probably gonna keep you guys in games. There'll probably be some of those games where it's low, very low scoring, and in a division which, I mean, Baltimore is the the top team,
yeah,
but Pittsburgh. You said they're in an interesting position because of, we don't know about Cincinnati. How much improvement are they going to have on the defensive side of the football? They're going to score
sure.
points. Well, the defensive side of the football, and Cleveland, I just feel like they're going to really be a pretty bad team, and everything too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Pittsburgh's right there with Cincinnati. So, but yeah, Baltimore's definitely the top dog of that division. So interesting division for sure.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
just got a couple more before I let you go.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask you about the few players who you must have on any of your leagues and any of your teams that you think, all right, every draft I'm gonna try, depending on what type of league you're in, I'm gonna try to get these few players.
Yeah, I was thinking about this before we started because I'm trying to look at some consistencies across different leagues that I
Yeah.
have, and I have a lot of Travis Hunter. And
Okay.
mostly because all
Yeah.
the leagues that I have him in have some level of IDP upside.
Yeah. That
Just
dual ability. Yeah.
because you have that, I feel like you have to have him. Again, I play in a lot of leagues that you have those additional IDP points, so because of
Mm.
that, I am making sure I grab him in a couple of those leagues because it's too fun of a year to not miss out on what could end up being a lot of fun and a lot of
Yeah.
volume. We're still looking to see what the split's going to look like in terms of exactly what percent of each game he's going to be playing on offense versus defense. He's a young, very talented player with a lot of speed, and I'm just excited to see him kind of get let loose out there. We know that the Jags need a lot of help on both sides of the ball. I could
Yes.
see that towards the end of the season, one side gets him maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
But if you're playing IDP, then you're going to win on both ends. So it's really not
Yeah.
the
There
worst
you go.
thing.
Right. No, that's a good point because like I said, Jacksonville said they're gonna need weapons
Hmm.
on the offensive side, and why not with someone like his talent as Travis Hunter to use him in that regard? I feel like he is gonna be more on the defensive side more with the splits, but he's so dynamic. You said he's a dynamic player. You're gonna I think you pick him up and he said an IDP and also have him offensively. Hey, why not? He's one of those players that you probably could have. So, any other players that you might think, or any one or other two players?
Um, yeah, I'm trying to see. So I've definitely picked up a lot more Josh Allen than I thought that I would have going into redraft this year. Just
Mm,
again, super flex leagues. If I can get him, early, then I'm not really minding that. Um, who else do I have a lot of? I have a decent amount of Alvin Kamara actually, who is another star of the utilization tool that I'm going to be talking about a lot just because I'm enamored with this amazing tool. But you look at someone like Kamara and the availability that he has and what he's able to do on the field on both sides of the ball with in terms of PPR, with receptions, as well as being, used in running game.
yep.
He's just an amazing asset that you can get extremely late in drafts. So for me,
Yes.
I think that if you're someone that wants to stock up on, your wide receivers, tight end early. You really want to, make sure that you get your, Trey McBride. You're trying to get your Josh Allen's. You can wait on running back and end up with someone like Alvin Kamara, who's going to have a really high floor for you. And I think a lot of usage. So for me, if you're looking to wait on running back and you're a little bit hesitant on who some of the top guys are, and maybe you want to get some other positions, again, you're in a PPR format and you're looking for optimum volume, then Kamara's a great running back to grab late.
Yeah, for sure. And interesting you said Alvin Kamara because I got him in the Scott Fishbowl at the 4.4,
Hmm.
and because I went Chase, Joe Burrow, and then I picked Cook, and then Alvin Kamara.
Nice.
So
That's a good stack too.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, and I said, Alvin Kamara's still there. Yeah, and and it feels like he might be the only weapon on a really bad team, for sure.
That's not a bad spot to be in
That
for
spot,
for
right?
fantasy
Yeah.
purposes. What makes
Yes.
a good fantasy player is not only talent but opportunity. That
Mm,
honestly is the
yeah.
main thing you look for in an amazing fantasy asset is do they have the opportunity
Yeah.
to exceed expectations? And he absolutely screams opportunity. I had two stacks in my Scott Fishbowl as well, actually. So I've got Josh Allen and I've got Khalil Shakir with him, and then
Okay.
I've also
Yeah.
got Lad McConkey and Justin Herbert together. So
That's a
I
real
did
good.
I did a little bit stacking myself as well, which was fun.
Yeah, yeah. I think in a lot of these leagues you might have to stack, and I think it's a really good plan to for your leagues as well. So yeah, that's a really good stack. That's two real good stacks actually. So it looks like Josh Allen. It looks like he might be the player too. Just one of the top quarterbacks, period, in
Hmm.
general. So, but especially fantasy wise, top three, 2, 3, for sure. He's gonna put up huge numbers, and he's the reigning MVP. So I'm sure he's looking to get that team get his team to the Super Bowl
Yeah,
this year. So high expectations for Josh Allen as well. All right, two more, and then I'll let you go. It says,
sure.
is there a clear cut number one fantasy pick this year? I know it changes every year, and I think Jamar Chase for sure. But is there any arguments for anybody else. My man Saquon, I know he's gonna. He might. Saquon's not gonna get the volume that he. I don't. I
Yeah.
don't believe that he got last season, and I think they want to. The Eagles want to keep him healthy again. He was very healthy last year, which I hope hopefully he's healthy again for my sake, for as a fan, but as an Eagle fan. But yeah. But is there any other argument? Bijan maybe? Is there any other arguments besides Jamar Chase?
Absolutely. I think, and funny enough, I have Jamar Chase and Bijan Robinson in a dynasty league together, and
Wow.
pretty stoked to have them together.
Yeah.
And so I think they're kind of a 1-2 punch, honestly. And if you can walk away with both, you're kind of winning out the gates.
Yes, for
So
sure.
in terms of guys that can win you your season, those are two players. They're absolutely top ones. Also going into the cornerstone players that I got to draw in the magazine as
Yeah.
well. So
Yep.
talking about the Jaden Daniels, you can grab him a little bit later than someone like if you're not really wanting to risk the ADP for Josh Allen. Jaden Daniels is squared up for an amazing season. They've done a good job about keeping talent around him and grabbing him more, and he's absolutely going to be running all over that field. So you love the rushing upside. Puka Nakua as well. Now that he's got Devontae Adams on his opposite
Yeah.
side, there is nothing better for Sean McVay than two talented wide receivers opposite each other
Yep.
that can absolutely create huge volume for you. So I think Puka is going to make a lot of big moves this season. Just having Adams opposite him as well, help open him up, continue to open him up.
Yeah.
And then obviously Bijan was in that as well. Trey McBride was in that group too.
Yep.
Again, tight end premium kind of is worth it to go ahead and just grab him where you can. I do see the touchdowns coming back in this season. The
Yeah.
opportunity is absolutely there. Finally, broke that at the end of last season. And I feel like more touchdowns are just going to roll in going into this season. So better prepared for it. Those four players being kind of cornerstones. And then, of course, I'm very partial to Jamar Chase because I have him in Dynasty. So those are all amazing players. If you can walk away with any of those, I feel like you're going to feel really good going into this season.
Those are your cornerstone. They're cornerstone players from Sam Holt. So listen, those are the ones you want to build around. If you can grab one of them, or you can get two of those players for sure. And Jaden Daniels, I know everyone's talking about maybe sophomore slump, and teams that got tape on him. Yeah, there's going to be. I don't know about slump, but there's going to be some. Uh, with players, the team's going to have some, tape on him and be able to defend him a little bit better. But he's so talented, and as you said, he's going top 5 QBs when it comes, like when it comes to like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, so he's right there with those guys as well. So he's right there, Jalen Hurts, and he's right there, right, probably right in between those three, and then
Mm-hmm.
it might be him right after. So yeah, I agree with that on with Jaden Daniels for sure. All right, last one. I was going to ask you, what makes a great fantasy football player? Like, I know it starts with the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like trades, opportunity, like you said, different things. But in your opinion, what makes a great fantasy football player?
Do you mean fantasy football manager, like us that are
Manager, yeah,
managing, like that are drafting?
manager,
Okay.
yeah, yes.
I think what makes you a good fantasy football manager of your team, of your squad, and as a league mate, first and foremost is participation and just
Yeah,
being involved, being dialed in. So, going into the season with a level of, you know, you want to be aware of the exciting rookies coming in. You want to, maybe if you weren't able to catch the draft, you want to be looking in right now and finding out who are the top players that you want to make sure you walk away with, but also your sleepers. So grabbing a magazine like Fantasy Life magazine, just
yep, get it,
shameless plug. So that way you can see different players you should be aware of. So
get
if you're new, if you're new to being to playing fantasy, I would say just best thing you can do is be proactive at getting educated and getting excited about different players, and do as many mock drafts as you can. This is the
it.
best time of year.
Yeah,
There's so many people that are ready and willing to hop on a mock draft with you. Every Thursday night, I do a mock girl summer with Wendy over for Women of Fantasy Football.
yep,
So to definitely tune into that, and you guys can join. We'll post the link to join for mock drafts early on Thursday morning, so that way we can get as many people as we can in, and we always do different formats as well. So this past Thursday, yesterday, we did a standard format, 10 team. Next week, we're going to be doing another different one, and it's just good to kind of get those reps in, and then you'll feel
Yeah.
really good watching how live people draft and how there's different favorites, and you can see everyone's strategy kind of go through in different ways. There will be people that wait really late on quarterback, and then you look back at the amount of talent they have at every offensive position for
Yeah.
high flex formats. It makes a lot of sense. And then there's other ones where you'll see someone like me go early on Josh Allen and see how we round it out and maybe grab some players late, like I said, Alvin Kamara as a late round running back, Cam Scatabo as a late round running back as well. I like him too in late leagues. It's just a good time to test stuff out. So yeah, I think what makes you a good fantasy manager is just being proactive and getting involved and educating yourself. You don't want to be the league mate that's also just falling behind or not setting their lineup. You want to be
Yeah.
someone that's in the know. So turn on all those notifications for all your different apps, so that way you know exactly who's getting hurt and all those different fun things. But subscribe to the Fantasy Life newsletter, which is free. So if you didn't want to do a subscription, you can do our newsletter, which is always free. And every single day you get a brand new email with amazing content. That you can, again, just stay up on not only fantasy news but regular football news and see
Yeah.
exactly what's happening with different team moves, different trades. That's, I think, the best way to stay involved, is to just be in the news, because then you'll know stuff sooner and be able to jump on the waiver wire quicker and pick up different players. Or if you haven't done your draft yet and you're seeing a lot of different ones go through, and you see a format you like and you want to try something different like tight end premium, go to your league mates and say, hey, before we do our draft, what do you guys think about adding this? Maybe doing super flex. Let's try a couple IDP spots. Just different ways that you can learn what's new and trendy in the space and try something different every year with different leagues.
I like that. I love it. Yes, I when I thought that question, yeah, fantasy football manager. I said player, but manager. I guess we could be players
I mean,
too,
you can be
but
players too. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
you play to win the game,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you can also have like the coach's hat on and how you want
Mhm.
to
Yep. Yeah.
strategize and
Right.
build
Right.
your team.
You're
I
the
think it's
general.
multiple ways to do it.
Multiple ways to do it. Right. Right. No, but no. I think that's really good, as you said. Just being locked in, prepared, active, as you said, and just to add, like you said, just being locked into the waiver wire, and to be prepared in the draft, have your rankings,
Hmm.
you do the research, and you said just be active with other like I said, mock drafts and other people that's in this space as well. And like I said, I might pick your brain on a couple players, like who should I sit, who should I start, and that too. I think that helps out a lot when we help each other in that way. Because I mean, we all want to win, but it's always good to help others too, as well. When but when it comes to money, it's always different. But you do it for fun. This is a fun thing to
Yeah,
do.
I'm overly positive. I'm always playing fantasy leagues for fun, and I definitely have
Yeah.
more for fun leagues than paid out leagues, because
Yes.
I'm a degenerate that just loves to draft and play the game.
Yeah.
But
Me too.
I definitely feel like, I think if you're also playing for money and you really are, you're in a high stakes league, I always recommend you take this time in the off season to go find analysts and different places where you can look at different points of view and see which kind of more aligns with strategies that you already use. And
Yep.
then that way you feel like you're going somewhere for like-minded advice. At the end of the day, you are the one setting your lineup. So if you make a call to start so-and-so because an analyst said that, you are ultimately the person that clicked the button. So you can't always go after us for telling you
Yes.
some advice,
Yes.
because
That's
at
so
the end of the day,
true.
we're all doing our absolute best to give the best possible
The best
advice.
advice,
But
best. Yeah.
who knows?
Absolutely. Yeah.
The
Yeah. Yep.
fantasy gods are, I feel like they're very karma based.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. For sure. So yeah, so we do our best. You said we listen and do our best, and you said at the end of the day, it's up to us when we set our lineups up. And if
Yes.
you start this one player over the other, and that player, that really breaks the slate, it's like, well, um, hey, you made that, but it's always a week to week thing. So you
It's
can
a week to
always
week. You can always
it's a
come
week to
back.
week. Yeah, always come back. Yes, you can always come back, and you're never out of it, and until the end, so for sure. You can get on a win streak. Even if you start 0-5, you can still get on a win streak and make the playoffs. But it's for fun. It's always been fun at the end of the day. So for sure. Well, Sam, it has been a pleasure as always having you on. I really enjoy just chatting with you and just about anything. But it's always, like I said, always a pleasure to catch up and everything too. So, but let everyone know where they can follow you, find you, and what else you got coming up in these next couple months before the season starts.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for having me, Courtney. I have always have fun getting a chat with you. And I feel like we can always go down the rabbit hole on so many different subjects. So
Yeah,
I thank
yes.
you for always bringing me back on. If you
Yeah.
guys want to follow me on X, you can follow me there at Samantha R. Holt, on Instagram at Sam_awesome. Make sure you go and check out fantasylife.com with all of our fun new tools. Like I said, if you are looking for a discount on a new subscription there, you can use my code HOLT, my last name, HOLT, and you'll get 20% off over there. And then some fun new news is I am going to be starting a new podcast, new old. I'm coming back with my old
Would
co-host
you?
Derek Tate, and
Okay.
he and I are bringing back our show together. It's going to be hosted over on Women of Fantasy Football, which I'm really grateful for them giving us the opportunity to have a platform over there for our show. So I'm excited to kind of bring things back. Tate and I used to record for several years, and we had a great time. So bringing the band back together, if you will, and we'll be doing
Yeah.
shows over there at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, live, as well as keeping that going into the season. So Tuesdays will turn into your waiver wire nights. You'll get to join us, and we'll talk about who to pick up going in week to week, and also doing some Thursday night football previews. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to the podcast, and yeah, so I'll definitely be listening and tuning in each week, and always getting those tips and things like that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yes, follow Sam on all those platforms, and again, Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life, get that 20% off. I will put that on this video as
Thank you.
well, and get that 20% off. And Holt, just use that code and you get 20% off. So, Sam, thanks you again. I really, really appreciate you as always. And best of luck with everything you got coming up. Many blessings. And yeah, and I know you got your Vegas trip coming up as well. So that should be big. And yeah, looking forward to all the content that you are going to be bringing out too as well. So thanks again. Really appreciate you.
Thanks, Courtney. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, you enjoy your weekend and have a good rest of the evening as well.
You too. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thanks.